All right, folks, good morning. First one of the day for the Vancouver Canucks. Sure, there's some other big signings. There's Claude Giroux going to the Ottawa Senators. There's talks about Vinny Trocheck having maybe a 7-year deal in the works right now. But the big one for the Vancouver Canucks so far, it's not the hottest ticket, but it's Curtis Lazar. Curtis Lazar signing with the Vancouver Canucks for 3 years. Now, that first 3 years sounds scary, right? 3 years for Curtis Lazar, who's not a star. He's a depth player who we'll get into a little bit more in a second here. You're thinking, oh boy, here's the Jim Benning 3x3, 4x3 Antoine Roussel. No, Jim is gone. New Jim is here. Patrick Alvin is here, and they signed Curtis Lazar 3 years, $1 million per year. This is perfect. There is literally no downside. Before we even talk about Curtis Lazar, I want to talk about burying contracts in the AHL because the only thing that impacts your salary cap as an NHL hockey team is the players on your NHL roster. And then anyone in the AHL has up to $1.125 million of their cap hit gets sort of expunged off of your salary cap while a player's in the AHL. So let's say Curtis Lazar comes here and in year 2, he's absolutely useless. They can put him in the AHL and there's no downside. So there's that part. The other part is Curtis Lazar is a really decent addition here. A couple of things that stand out. One, local guy. Curtis Lazar, I believe, grew up in Salmon Arm, so it's a place he wanted to play. Has played about 8 years in the NHL at this point, sort of bounced around from team to team. Ottawa, Calgary, Buffalo, Boston. He's played for 4 teams at this point. But the big thing here for the Canucks is he is a right-handed centerman, sort of replacing Juho Lammikko at this point as the guy who's penciled in to be the number 4 center. And it just makes a lot of sense. Former first-round pick, that doesn't matter. But let's go into the old HockeyDB, and I'll zoom in a little bit here. So like I said, right shot center, 27 years old. So the Canucks are getting him from basically years 27, 28, and 29-year-old. So there shouldn't be a big drop-off yet, even though, it's not like he's a star. He should be able to keep up at that fourth-line caliber pace for a little bit. So obviously was a 13th overall or 17th overall pick. Sort of bounced between the NHL, AHL, throughout his entire career, but let's look at the last couple of years. Let's look at the last 3 years. So 2019-2020 with Buffalo, 38 games, 10 points, played a little bit of time in the AHL there as well, but he's gotten a little bit better since. 2020-2021, he played 50 games between Buffalo and Boston, had 13 points. Again, points aren't really his goal, but this last year in Boston, he was actually a really solid depth piece. 70 games played, 16 points, and then had a goal in the playoffs as well. So nothing jumping off the page when it comes to the numbers here on HockeyDB. But I do want to go over to the analytics side a little bit. If I can find my mouse cursor, there we go. And this is the sort of player card, right? This is the thing that JFresh puts out with the data from Top Down Hockey, where we can basically look at analytically, where does this guy rank among similar caliber players. And there's one thing that obviously stands out here, right? First off, this WAR percentile rank. Let's see if I can move my camera here. Basically, kind of a down year in 1920, like I mentioned, then has bounced back to be sort of a middle of the road player these last couple of years. What I really want you to note is this defense ranking, though, and you can see it both here where it says EV defense at 98%. Basically meaning that he is in the 98th percentile of even strength defensive play, which is fantastic, especially for a guy who you're going to have as your fourth line center. That is phenomenal. Even strength offense, 42nd percentile. For a fourth liner, that's also excellent. That's totally fine. No qualms there. No power play time. He's not going to need power play time here. One little bit of a worrying thing is the penalty kill rating, 22nd percentile. And you have to think this is a guy that they're thinking about penciling in to that penalty killing ranks. You want your bottom 6 guys to be able to kill penalties so that your top guys can get some rest and aren't spending, 22 minutes a night out there, including like 4 minutes on the kill. So hopefully, with how good he is defensively at even strength, hopefully he can improve that penalty killing a little bit as well. But honestly, I don't have all that much to say about this. This is the first real free agent signing out of this new management regime, and it's basically a freebie slam dunk. They've also gone out and signed a Wyatt Kalynuk, which is someone that is not a big deal, right? No offense to Wyatt Kalynuk, but basically jumping between the AHL and NHL, he'll be basically a 7th, 8th defenseman on the left side for the Canucks. But we'll talk about that more later on if we do some sort of roundup or something like that. Let me know your thoughts on the Curtis Lazar deal down below. I'm sure we're going to be coming back at you a handful of times throughout the day. So we will talk to you in a little bit.